love that intro, Rhonda. Yeah, it's a great one. Good morning, everyone. Come in, our Spirit Sessions family, and welcome to the amazing show we have today. Here's a little sage for all of you so that you will hear and see and know and feel everything that's here for you today. We have something so exciting. We are over here just listening to these stories. You are going to be so excited to meet Bill Homann. So come in and enjoy today's show, but don't forget to share it out. You're going to have friends who want to see this show too. Go to YouTube, sign up on our YouTube, the what's that thing called subscription,
Mhm.
and share it and have some fun with us. So welcome. Rhonda, tell us about our amazing guests.
Okay, I'm going to introduce Bill, and Bill has the wonderful job of being the guardian or the custodian of the most mysterious object in the world, and that's the crystal skull. It was once called, I think, the skull of doom, but now it's the skull of love, and it's so mysterious that scientists are still arguing over it. And it's been put under the microscope, literally, and they still can't figure it out. So, Bill, I would like you to just tell the story of the skull and how you came into this guardianship and this wonderful partnership that you have and what your mission is now. Because I think you tell it best. No sense me yapping. You go ahead. Thank you for coming on. We're honored to have you here.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me, and it's really it's always fun, and I really enjoy your invitation, and I'd like to share some interesting stories that have been happened to me since I've been the caretaker. I've been the caretaker of the Crystal Skull since 2007. Before that, the person that owned it was Anna Mitchell-Hedges, and she is really the one that found it because she in 1924, she was with her father down in Central America, and they were uh, uncovering this one site called Lubantun, the place of the falling stones. And what it was is he was working down there, and he was looking for a connection between Atlantis and the Maya. And that's what he was looking for, a place called the White City, and that was not found, but he found Lubantun. Uh, there were 7 pyramids, ball courts, spiritual centers, different things over a very large area of like 300 acres that they had. That was in the place in the jungle that was a center back in the day. And the pyramids there are considered, because of the way they were made with the rounded corners and the blocks that were cut perfectly, no mortar, one of the more ancient of the sites. And so his adopted daughter, Anna, was down there with him. And the young kids were told never to go on the pyramids because it was dangerous. The rocks would move, there were snakes, etc. But she was the adventurer too. And when everyone was taking a siesta in the middle of the day, she and a few of the Mayan kids snuck to the top because it was the tallest pyramid. They said if you went to the top, you could see all the way to the sea. And so they snuck up there and they were looking for the sea, and it was all cloudy. And the clouds kind of moved, and all of a sudden a ray of sun came down through the clouds and went through a rock at the top, by the top of the pyramid, and it went in, and it was a big light in there. And she ran down excited to tell her dad, who put her in major trouble. But the next day he thought there must be something there. So he got all the guys together and they started to uncover it, and it started to collapse. And so they decided they had to do it very carefully. So it took them like 6 weeks, moving stone by stone, and carefully got a small hole in the top, small enough for a small person, which was Anna. And they tied a rope to her, and she was lowered into this pyramid. And here it hadn't been opened for 1,000 years, and she's going in there, worrying about snakes or what else is there. And she went in and she started to feel around, and she found something, and she stuck it in her shirt, pulled on the rope, and they brought her up. And when the skull came out and hit the light, all the Mayans, they just started to cry and kiss the earth. It's like their God had returned. And it was so impactful to Mitchell-Hedges that he presented it to the high priest. And the high priest took it and they put it in an altar and they burned fires around it 24 hours a day. And natives would come from all over and they would come to see it. And it was there from 1924 to 1927. In 1927, when they had to close up, the permits were ended and they had to leave. The high priest presented it back for safekeeping because Mitchell-Hedges didn't just take from the natives. He would always give. If he'd bring 2 doctors along that would work healing, he would bring food, medicine, and they pay him a fair wage for their work. So the people loved him, and they deeply respected him. So they knew that he could take care of it, and that was in 1927. And he had it from 1927 till he passed away, and that was in 1959. In 1959, it went back to his adopted daughter, Anna, and she had it till she passed away in 2007. And the last 8 years of her life, she lived in Indiana, where I was living, and she trained me on how to take care of it. She was there for a couple of years before that. Then she went back to Canada. She went back to England, and then she came from England back to Canada, and then back to Indiana. But each time she would move, she'd buy a big 4-bedroom house, move all her stuff, then she would sell it, move up to England, and buy a 4-bedroom house, then sell it, and move back. So she was, even at her age, there was nobody like Sammy. So she was probably one of the most amazing people that I've ever met, and have such great respect and love for her. And the work she was doing, she trained me to carry it on. And it was my word that I would do it. And that's what I'm doing now, is I'm trying to fulfill my promise to the skull and my promise to her to continue that. And so like when I'm doing these talks now, I can always feel her father and her behind me, keeping a good eye on me, making sure I don't mess up. So hopefully I won't mess up. So, but
Excellent.
yeah, she found it on January 1st, 1924. That was the day she took it out, and it was her birthday when she went in and brought it out. And she passed away on April 11th, 2007, which was my birthday. So how's that happen? I don't know. It just happened. But there's a lot of strange things around the skull, and after a while, you get to a point that when something happens a little bit different, I hardly even recognize it now, because I'm kind of you get numb to it after I get used to it, I guess. But I don't take it for nothing, but I do appreciate it, but I don't dwell on it. So that's kind of where I'm at. But the skull, they say, comes out at a time when the world needs help. And one of the major points was in 2012, December 21st, 2012. And it did a lot of the work then, which was to raise the consciousness of mankind. And then the next major cycle of importance was 2020, December 21st. And that was another major change, but it was a major the vibrational change, bringing ancient wisdom from the masters, from the creator, through and grounding it on the physical planes of the planet. So that was really important. And that's why we're getting these changes in people. People are starting to wake up because the energy is lighter, brighter, and things are changing in people's heart and aura and everything. They don't even realize it, but it's happening. And that's why, as spiritual workers, why we are so important, because each one of us are like lights. We put this light out and people are drawn to it, and we're able to help facilitate this higher consciousness that we're going into now. We're going into a time where people are becoming more aware of who and what they are. They're taking back their responsibility of their reason and purpose for being here, and opening up to this potential that we all have and we just have forgotten. So each one of us as light workers are so important, because I see it as a painting, and each one of us is a piece of that painting, that to make the painting a beautiful painting that we're making, it takes each one of us doing what we do the best, and finding who you are and becoming that full person and living that. It's putting balance and making the piece right so we all fit. Each one of us is as just as important as the next, because we all are a part of the picture, that if one piece was missing, wouldn't be a beautiful picture that we want. So we want this beautiful picture. So as we work together, sometimes you don't realize how important each one of us are in this whole process. But I say that, you don't realize that you chose to be here at this important time, and you were given the position to do this work because from the higher planes, the Creator, they knew that you're capable of doing it. So here you are, and working with the different energies, and we're all working, and it's surprising how we're all going to the same point, and a lot of us have different ways of getting there, but each one of us is important. And so working with the skull, telling you a little bit, one of the things it does is it works on the person's inner self. Feel it goes into yourself and mirrors that higher self inside of you, who and what you really are, the things that you've forgotten, that you pushed away, especially in your childhood or past, that keeps you from your full potential. Maybe you had parents that made fun of you because you could see an imaginary friend, or you could know what was happening before it happened, and you had all these different gifts, and it scared your parents or whatever, and they made fun of it, and you put it in this box away. But now, as an adult, we still have them in these boxes, and they're still sitting there, but there are gifts, God-given gifts, that we're supposed to bring out and use. And so being in contact with that and seeing those gifts and bringing them forward to use them, not only for yourself, but for all of mankind. And being on your path and doing what you are made to do and what you came to do, there's nothing better than that in the world, because if you're doing things that don't fit into your personality, you have a part of you that's not in balance, and you know it, and it throws off everything. But when you get in balance, wake up every day, and you have the joy of doing what you do the best and finding that joy and finding that love, it makes it really good. So I've found what I do with the skull is really neat, because working with people individually, just like this, I'm able to key into their inner self and open up those potentials, and it's really life-changing. So, I mean, if I can go around and change lives and make people better, well, that's a pretty good job. So I like that one. I'm going to keep that one going as much as I can.
So, Bill, I just want a question. I have a question for you.
Sure.
There's a couple of questions, but from the audience, they want to know, does the skull have a name? Does it have a name?
Yeah, it's now the name. I've been studying and working with this. I've been working with a lot of indigenous masters from all over the world in different things, from indigenous from the United States and other countries throughout the world, but they all have a central point of what this is all about. And the name, it's the Mitchell-Hedges skull. There's some secret names that I have that was given to me. And there's also, if you go back to a period before Atlantis, they say the name Kukumats is a name. So it is a powerful name, because what we've found is that the skulls are here to help mankind. And if you try to figure out where they came from or what, it goes way back in history, way back into the ancients, because the Creator, in creating this dimension, this world, they need a template to bring that through, and the template was pure crystalline structure that was pure. They brought it through, and it's been evolved over the thousands and millions of years. And right before Atlantis, it was made malleable where it could be shaped, and the jaw was made separate. See, right now, the skull is in two pieces. The jaw is separate.
Ah,
And when they did testing at Hewlett-Packard, the top and the bottom are all from the same exact piece of crystal. It was made separate, perfect. There's not off a little bit. It's perfectly separated. So how that happened, we don't know. It also has inside of it lenses and prisms that are built inside the crystal, and they direct light. But to make that like that, and to take a crystal of this quality and try to grow it or make it that way, it would take zero gravity, and it would take even a technology that today on the space station they grow crystal, but they grow small crystals. They can't do anything like that, and they cannot control it to put exact 90-degree turns inside of it, etc., and prisms that direct the light and magnify it. So who did it and how it was done, nobody knows. It was made against the grain. How was it made against the grain? Crystal is hard, but it's brittle, and it has to be made in a certain way. And if they go against that, it would not be here. So it is here. So how'd that happen? So there's a lot of mystery around the skull, but I just accept it for what it is. And people, oh, this or that. What you do is I say, come sit with it. And the people that sit with it, connect to it, they understand what it is and what it does. So it's a skull. I call it, it's a Mitchell-Hedges skull, but it's the skull of love. And I say that because it strongly emits universal love. And it connects with a person's inner self, and it remembers. It remembers. Because the skull is piezoelectric quartz, so it's like a huge computer chip. And they say that the knowledge of the universe has been stored inside the crystal, and it has been stored there until the time when mankind becomes advanced enough that they're able to extract that knowledge. And I think we're getting close to that now, which is quite interesting. But
I was wondering how it's changed you since you've been its guardian.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm a person that always wants to learn and always study different things that I'm interested in. And how has it changed me? I guess probably the people around me would probably be able to answer that better. But I've come into my understanding of what my purpose is and what my job is with it at an even deeper level. At first you just, it's a responsibility. You have that feeling. Your inner self knows what that is, but your outer self is not always in touch with your inner self, and you know how that is. And so, especially since these changes now, I'm becoming more connected with my inner self and connected to these different forces that are around, because the skull is multidimensional. It works on different planes, and it connects with some of these ancient energies, these different ET forms that are connecting with us now. They've always been here. People say, oh, there's ETs. Hey, we're ETs too. We've all been brought here, and just because we've had a number of lifetimes here, we're all one, we're all connected. And that's kind of what this story is about. Another story that I just want to say real quickly is we have to realize that we all people need to come together. And that's why I work with Indigenous a lot, because they have that strong belief of bringing all people together, all races together, because it's not a race war we're in right now. It's a matter of it's the people that are controlling a small part of everything. They own everything, are controlling the masses. And we have to realize, hey, we're not against each other. We've come together. We're a family. We're not, and that's what we have to learn. Now, did I miss a question? What was that question? Did I get off track?
No. You pretty well explained it. So, yeah.
You
It's
have
been
another
a
one?
journey for you as well. It's been a journey for you as well as, right?
That's been oh yeah, it's every, you're learning and growing all the time, and especially now is really an interesting time for sure, and the connections of different things are getting stronger. The skull, the legend says there's 13 of these skulls, and they've been placed in different parts of the world or in other dimensions that are there, but they're still connected. Just because they're not all right here doesn't mean they're not connected. And the fact is, back in when they were all developed back, thousands of years ago, they the masters used them as communication devices, and they would be in different places, but they'd still be able to communicate. And so, when the destruction of that area was happened, the different ones went and were placed in different places. Some under the sea, even some inside of mountains where there's volcanoes. They're all different places. Like in Hawaii, there's a red, one of the red, there's a red skull that's one of the 13, but it's in a chamber that is fed to it by a volcanic tube. And then there's one, there are different places all over the place. Guatemala, different, there's still some that, and there's some that are on different dimensions, but they all connect, and we can connect them today when we do our meditation, because we're going to do a little meditation, and we can
Awesome.
bring the connection between all of them and bring that energy together. So it's pretty neat how it works, and I'm excited to show it to you.
It's very
Okay.
exciting.
So hopefully we can keep our connection. We're kind of in and out today, but I'm hoping it's just the high vibe of the skull. Sometimes, I mean, we've had it happen before.
Oh.
So we're just holding space for it. So, yeah, let's go into the meditation. I'm going to put you on screen, so don't be alarmed. And we'll take ourselves off and mute, and we're just going to listen along. Okay.
Oh, should we open to a few questions before or not?
People may have some questions at the end, and we'll go ahead and ask them then. You've been explaining things so well that they're, awesome. Thanks.
Okay, tell me.
Go ahead anytime. We're ready for you anytime.
Okay. Well, let's see. So, like, what I like to do is I like to get everyone to just find yourself in a comfortable position and just feel the energy. The skull, right, likes to just go into your heart and just let it expand in there. Feel that love, feel the light, like an old friend. And just take several slow, deep breaths. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and just relax. Let all the tension leave your body. And feel that smile that's coming over you. The skull is giving you a big smile. Feel the love, feel the light. So now I'm going to connect with the north, the south, the east, and the west. I'm going to bring that energy in, and I'm asking for all the masters, the teachers, the guides, the ascended masters, the angels, archangels, all that want to join us now to be with us in our meditation. And I want to feel from the center skull, I wanted to see the energy going out and back, connecting to wherever the skulls are, wherever they are, connect. We get all the 13 skulls connected with us now, and just feel the light expanding. Oh, there, and now. And as you have your eyes closed, look up into the sky with your third eye and just feel from the heart of the Father. Just bring this beautiful white light down from the heart of the Father, down into the skull. And just let it light the skull with this love. Now going down into the earth. Look down into the center of the earth, down to the heart of the mother. And you can just feel this beautiful love coming from her heart. And she loves all of us so much. And she's bringing that beautiful light and sunset pink of universal light into the skull. Just feel the light from the skull going right into your heart now. Feel your heart opening with that beautiful light. Feel the healing, feel the love. Now let's expand the light, and you can feel it expanding, expanding, bringing it up higher and higher. And over wherever you're at, just see it expanding out and traveling around the world. This beautiful, beautiful sunset pink universal love, this beautiful diamond white light, surrounding the world with it. Oh, there. Now let the light come down and control it, because you can see the light now coming out of your hands, and you can send it. You can put it at yourself and dissolve any kind of blockage, any kind of negativity in yourself. You can take it to your family members, friends, whoever needs it. Send the light. And then wherever you're drawn, you're told to go. We can go together over to the Middle East, going to Israel and sending love to the Palestinians and the Israelites, sending that love and light and peace to them and to all mankind. You're free to go. Go now. Send light. Okay, I'm going to bring us back now on the count of 5. 1, feel the energy coming back into your body. 2, you can feel it going out your fingertips and toes as you're coming up. 3, feel that universal love. Feel it, and feel it inside and outside, and let you send it wherever you go from now on. 4, you're almost back. Feel that coming up, coming up. 5, you're back. Whenever you're ready, come back. Much love to all of you. God's love. Connection between the other close calls open. Thank you, all the guides, masters, angels, archangels, for being in this and joining us. Much love. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank
And if
you
you
so much.
guys, I can hardly wait to watch this on the replay tonight, because I'm going to do it tonight again on the replay. And remember, you guys can do that too, because I'm sure this all transcends time and space. So it's awesome. Let's put it on the big screen and see them on them.
Okay, well,
Do that meditation.
much love, and yeah, it's exciting what's happening, what we're doing, and just keep that going. Each one of us are all important in this whole thing.
Yeah. Gloria Clark says she could see pink and diamond light pulsing from the skull. Just beautiful.
You never know.
Yeah.
It changes all the time, but it's
yeah. And Kirith in South Africa said he could see indigo light mixed with golden light, and his ears are still ringing, and there's tears running down his face.
The skull's sending much love for sure. I know that it's, what it does is we have in our pineal gland, we have crystalline structure. So the skull energy has a vibration that comes into that crystalline, and you can set the energy. The skull is piezoelectric quartz. It's the same kind of quartz they make computer chips out of. That's why it's like a major, huge computer chip.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing for sure.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody kind of gets a little bit into their own little world. So I think we've got a few people.
Yeah. What did you see, Teresa? And then Bex. What did you feel?
Okay. I was doing normal until a certain point. Okay, at the time when we were starting to send healing to Israel, I had already engaged it into the crystalline grid of the earth and into the consciousness around the earth. And so I was pulling it, and then Rhonda, the song you had at the beginning, the music, I was hearing that like a vortex opening, and all this love from around the world going on to Israel and stuff. And then I discovered that I can go other places, past, future, and hidden places that will yet be known in the future, not yet. And these places were like getting a cleanse with this love energy coming in, almost like, hey guys, it's almost spring, almost time, like getting a message, So that's what I was doing. So
Awesome. Boy, that's beautiful. Very beautiful. So
it's always fun listening to you, Teresa. I love you. How about you, Bex? What did you get?
Oh, well, as we know, I kind of get really spacey after things like this, but I'll try to put my thoughts together. Okay. My third eye is just uncontrollably pulsing, like major pulsing, and I'm just loving it, blissing out on it. The first thing I saw was actually the 13 skulls surrounding the planet, and just shooting all of their light, connecting to each other, and then shooting it to the earth, and everyone's a beacon of light. So it was just every single one was a pillar. It was hitting every single person, every single being. And it was just awesome. Absolutely beautiful. And then it transmuted into the skull actually coming into my skull and really bringing my crystalline body online. That was just, oh my God, just waves of emotion, waves of joy and bliss and just gratitude. It was so beautiful. And then we get to move over to the Gaza Strip, and the love that was felt there. I kept hearing the conflict is ending. The conflict is ending. It was just so intense. I was trying to hold myself together right now. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Amazing. I was getting, now I don't, like, I could hear so much going on in my ears when we were being quiet with the skull, like so much download, I'm sure. I couldn't make it out, but I could hear stuff. And there's just like a beautiful pink energy running off the skull that wasn't there before. So I just like, yeah, I hope to do that again tonight and get more out of it when I'm not at mission control here. Then I can really get lost.
Yeah,
So,
it programs into your higher consciousness, and it filters down at a later time. So it's kind of neat. And then, like, each person gets something different. You know, I could have 100 people, and each one of the 100 people would have their own experience. So it's not like, oh, everybody gets the same. Everyone gets a different one. That's what I've learned, and I find that quite interesting for sure.
I suppose everybody needs different things, and like you said, everybody here has a different purpose, but it's a purpose that unites us all. So there's all pieces of the puzzle. So
Right.
That's awesome. Bill, can you tell us about your good point, Tanya? Thank you for being here and reminding me, because I was going to do that, but I'm glad you did. Ask Bill about the weekly meditation he hosts on Zoom.
Oh, it's twice a month. We do one at new moon and full moon. And if you could join the Mitchell-Hedges Crystal Skull meditation group, then the ladies send you a link to what time it is. But it's usually on, right around new moon and right around full moon. And we have 3 of them going right now. We have one with Europe and Hungary. There's a lot of people from Hungary. And there's one from United States and Canada. These are different times. And then there's one from Japan. And that's really cute. All those Japanese ladies and men and stuff, but they're really beautiful souls. And I really enjoy that one too. So we're spreading out and sending out a lot of good energy and good love to the planet, because I believe the key is universal love. See, the skull, I call it the skull of love now, but it's the Mitchell-Hedges skull of love, because it really works on your heart and opens your heart to this universal love. So it's, if you hear it and then open your heart, you can definitely feel the love, and you're able to send it and change the world. So that's what's going to change the world is coming. Not a war. The skull, there's 2 important things that it's been saying. It says that there's more than one type of entity living on Earth now. They're the ones that have soul and spirit connection. If they have a soul and spirit connection, they are the creator beings. They are gods, not knowing it. We're not knowing who we really are, but because we have that connection with spirit, we're connected to everything. And then there's ones that don't have that connection. Maybe they came from a different place and time or whatever, or maybe they're just new souls. They don't have the connection yet. And if you don't have the connection, the way the people with souls get the power is they create. You create everything in your life. And if you look around at your life, you think about something, it'd be nice to have a new car, and I'd like this one, and all of a sudden you see that car all over, and you can create it in your life. Anything you can create. But the ones that don't have that connection, they don't have that creating ability, and the only way they get power is from other people. So they pull power, trying to pull power. So you have people that you get around and they're friendly and everything, but when you leave, you're ready to go to sleep because they've been sucking your energy. And if you get into a relationship with somebody, it's just that the energy is always pulled. You can never do anything right. So the secret is being in control of your space. You have that. That's your God-given gift. And you can put yourself where you want to be. There's nothing where you have to be. And so the way it works in the world, there's a lot of people with no souls that are in places of very powerful positions, and they control what's coming, a lot of the negativity that's coming out of the news. And people with souls, when you see it, you worry about it, you're in fear. And when you do that, it spins everything the wrong direction. And then you're feeding their energy, because food, the negative forces feed off our negative emotions. So, but you have control, and if you can just go into a center point where you're not for or against anything, open your heart to the love and go forward and create in the world what you do want, not what you don't want. Even when it's so bad, concentrate on seeing it, a world that you want. And that is your power, more than you can ever imagine. And you can make changes in the world. So that's what has been coming through the skull. And I just kind of, because it's important, because we don't realize it, I wanted to get that out.
That's awesome.
Thank
Awesome
you.
message for today and in these times for sure. So just want to thank you again. And we have a couple of questions, Bex, before we go. I mean, we can skip the 2 questions.
I was going to say, I think we
Yeah.
have one. We'll tell you what the other 2 were, but as you can see, they won't be relevant now because we already know the answers. The first question is, if you had to choose a song to be the theme song of your life, what would it be?
Well, hey, did you know that back in 1979, this gentleman was up working in Toronto, and he called our friend Carol Davis, the psychic, and she's the one that did the Skull Speaks, and she's going to be, if we come back and do the show again, she'll be there with me, and we have some pretty good stories together. But she's an amazing person. And she got this call from this gentleman, and she told him all about the skull. She told him all about the life of Mitchell-Hedges and everything. And he wanted to talk to Anna, the daughter, or Sammy. So he called over there, but she was leaving for England the next day, so she couldn't see him. But Carol was able to tell him all these stories, and that was like 79. In 1986, he came out with his first movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. In that movie, when Harrison Ford went inside the temple, and there was that skull on top of the altar, and he took it off, and everything crashed. It was supposed to be a crystal skull, but because of Sammy and the story, they made it a gold skull, and they didn't say anything about crystal skulls until after she passed in 2007. That's where 2008 they came out with Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, but they made the Crystal Skull look a little strange, because if they would have made it look real, then there would have been problems with different governments. So it worked out really good for them, and really good for me that they didn't do it that way. But that's how that was. So there's a connection with Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, and not just recently. Going through some papers, I found this paper. See, Mitchell-Hedges also worked for the British Secret Service, and he was under the 1911 Security Act, where he couldn't tell anything he did. So a lot of his stories he couldn't go into because he was under Secrecy Act. But with being down in Central America at the time that the Nazis were down there looking for sacred objects, he was down there looking for objects too. And we found this letter from the head of British intelligence to Mitchell-Hedges, and it was a coded letter, and it wasn't, if you just read it, you wouldn't make much sense. But the person that signed, as the one that typed it at the bottom was, let me see if I can remember his name. He's the guy that did Indiana Jones. What's his name? Who made the
one who wrote the book.
Steven Spielberg?
No, they wrote the books.
I don't know who wrote the book.
Okay,
Yeah.
Once you hear the name, you'll know it. Yeah, okay, anybody remember the name of? He's a famous author that wrote all the Indiana Jones books. Or not the Indiana
I'll have to Google it.
James Bond books. But he's the one that signed the bottom one. So he was connected to Mitchell-Hedges, and here's Mitchell-Hedges going on these ventures in Central America, and he was the one that wrote some of these books, all the books.
Right.
So
Sort of like Ian Fleming.
That's
sort
it.
of like-
That was Ian Fleming. That's who it was.
Oh, Ian Fleming wrote them. Okay, cool.
He wrote the letter for the head of British intelligence to Mitchell-Hedges.
Okay, cool.
So he was connected with all that. But the thing is so what's going back to the original question? Well, I like the Indiana Jones theme song. That's a good one. And probably
Yes.
I like some of James Bond's ones too. So put
There
those
you
two
go.
together, and there we are.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
I love adventure, so I'm
Yes.
always ready for an adventure. And if I had a neat one a couple of years ago with Discovery Channel and Exploration Unknown, where they took me down to Central America and to a lot of the sites where Mitchell-Hedges went. It's the one that's season 6, number 7. But that was a pretty good adventure because I was going in caves and stuff, and it was really cool and climbing through some pretty bad jungles. But overall, it was really, I mean, I love adventure. So that's what does that answer part of the question?
That's
Any other
amazing.
Sure, that's
I love
cool.
that was a great answer. And the other 2 questions, which we don't have to have you answer now, but we'll tell you anyway. One of them was, what's your favorite crystal to work with right now? So I think we know that.
Yeah.
And the other question is, have you ever experienced extra-dimensional intelligence? And I think we know the answer to that one too.
Okay,
So,
I think that's covered. Yeah. Okay.
It is covered. That's awesome. Thank you so much for today. What an amazing experience it's been.
Okay, well, and
Truly.
take that love in your heart, all of you, and send that love around you, because that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to change the world with this universal love. That's what it needs. So
Yes,
thank
absolutely.
you. Much love,
Thank you.
everybody.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to thank you very much for all this. And Bex, you have one more piece of business.
I do. The winner of last week's Share It Out, who won a session with me, is Susan Aaron. So congratulations. Please make sure you guys share out this week, because whoever shares out the most will win with Teresa. So you get to have some time, one-on-one time with Teresa, and have an amazing session. So take a few minutes, share this out, guys. Invite your friends. This is, I mean, can you get any more blissful than this? This is just amazing. Like, I could just sit in this all day. I hope I can. I'm going to anchor it in. What an amazing,
Watch it on
amazing
YouTube
experience.
tonight.
Yeah. Thank you so
let's do
much. And thank you all for hanging out with us today.
Thanks very much. And
Namaste.
we'll see you next week with the
Think
Freaky
about it.
Healer.
Yes,
Think about
we're gonna-
adventure. Go for the adventure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Even if it's just out to your backyard, Bex.
that's
Go
adventure.
for the,
I went on an adventure
She went to the
yesterday.
beach.
I
Oh, yeah,
did.
you were at
I
the
had an
beach.
amazing adventure yesterday.
yeah, I did. Yeah. So I went to the garden. Yay. But you guys have a really good time. And thanks so much, Bill. And we'll talk to you after. I'm just going to take us out. Just hang on in there.
Yes.
Okay.